Hey everybody, it's SK. For the 5 people here that are actually watching, you may notice that I kinda haven't really been very active of late on my Twitch channel and my YouTube channel. And just for the sake of clarity, I would like to show you why. You're looking at a project screen for a Game Maker project. Now, bear in mind, as a disclaimer, the only other programming knowledge or acumen I have up to this point was fiddling around with an English hacked version of RPG Maker 2000 circa around 1999 or so. So let it be said that my programming skills are non-existent. So for 2 months, I feel pretty proud of myself. And also, as an extra disclaimer, as some may know, I actually work full-time. The only time I really get to do any kind of like streaming and recording and stuff like that would either be on the weekends or after I get home from work, which as of late has not really been possible because getting home from work takes about an hour to an hour and a half. Yay, traffic. So in reality, when I say that I've been working on this for about 2 months, in reality it's been about 8 days. So for 8 days, this is actually not that bad, and I'll give you a basic view of what this actually is. Look familiar? Yeah. So for those of you who actually do watch this channel, you notice that I play a lot of Dragon Force, which is that Sega Saturn game from the mid-90s that nobody ever really tried to replicate. Well, I am attempting to replicate it in my own terrible little way. As you see, I have my 1 units, I have this shitty background that's basically there to just sort of simulate depth, and then I have the enemy units, and there we go. This is basically more or less the extent of what I have. It's very, very very bare bones. As I said, I have no programming acumen. I have no knowledge of GML. I tried doing the drop and drag thing that Game Maker is known for, and I stopped after like 2 hours because I'm like, fuck this shit. I can type faster than this. I will learn the language. And I have been slowly doing that. And it's proved an interesting learning experience, by the way. Pay no mind to the movie cursor thing. This is not actually how the camera is going to work. This was literally the first thing I learned how to program, was basic movement functions. Though I can do it with a controller too. Hang on a sec. Yay! It works! It's working! Yay! See? I learned how to use it with a controller too. Controller functionality! Isn't that amazing? But it has very, very basic functionality. There's an advance command. There's a retreat command, which takes you to the right side of the screen. It ignores the bosses. It'll fight units if they're fighting. All that kind of stuff. Advance is the exact same thing, but it will just work onto the opposite side of the screen towards the enemy general. They kind of spaz out a little bit, but that's just the functionality of the type of the command or whatever it is that I used, rather than trying to program my own movement functions so they can actually understand where the hell to go, which I actually did. The first 3 of these proverbial 8 days was me trying to actually manually program how they can understand collision pathing and where they should be moving and what that point, and it was technically workable, but it really wasn't that good. And then I found this particular command and I was like, sold, mine. And so they may kind of act a little bit like Mexican jumping beans up in this shit, but it's workable. I can consider it a quirk of the Game Maker system. I'm sure it will be okay. Like, I kind of wish that there was a way I could slow their speed down after a certain way. Actually, I might be able to do that. Fuck, I just gave myself more work. Damn it. It is impressive just how messed up some things can get if you're not careful about it. But I have divide, I have regroup, I have move to top because fuck it, I already have it programmed. Why not make it its own function? Same thing with move to bottom, though realistically, I'm not 100% certain I'll ever actually use that for anything, but hell, the functionality is there. May as well add it. I have attack, which is much like advance, except that they will actually prioritize the general. They won't just brush past him. I have defend, which is like retreat, except that, my units will dogpile around the player general with means to defend him, which I don't think was something Dragon Force 1 or 2 extensively had at its own thing. I think it may have been some formations had things like that, but it wasn't something you had readily access to. And then I have melee, which is they're going to find the nearest enemy object and murder all the things. Now, ordinarily you don't have the means with which to change any formations after you do that, but again, just barely made all this shit, so suck it, basically. And I also have thus far programmed basic functionality for attacking. Never mind the fact that they're going to start changing weird colors. There's no animations for any of this, hence why they're all kind of like sliding around on the ground. The red and blue is respected for their attacking animation. The yellow and green is respected for their death animation. It's basically just to buy enough time so an animation could theoretically pass before I actually have an animation in there. Every unit has its own specific number or class, and they have their own strengths or weaknesses to the other unit classes that are available. 5 being the best, 1 being the worst, etc., etc. And the way I have it programmed, obviously, is that, the game compares the two numbers that are available, and the number that's left, either like 5 minus 1, 3 minus 3, 2 minus 4, whatever that number results in, is the success chance that the units have to deal an attack. Now, as I have it set up right now, they're all soldiers, obviously. It's the only sprite that I have. But technically, I had it set up to mages versus griffins, my version of dragons, because griffins are cooler. Suck it. And mages in here are really, really bad against griffins. Griffins will just tear through them like butter. So mages obviously went to attack. I mean, they're going to be ranged, but whatever. They went to attack, and they got slaughtered because obviously they have an extremely low success rate. If I were to go in and change that, you would see a very, very different story. Case in point. Now, these guys being soldier versus soldier, it is a bit more of an even battle. The soldiers on the player side, I think, still have a slight advantage for some reason or another. I'm not really sure if the programming is weird or not, but I can't really figure it out, but fuck it, whatever. It is what it is, I suppose, at least for the moment. I can fiddle with it later, but as you can see, they're all trying to head towards the general now, and the general is pretty much going to wreck their faces. Now, it's a much more even battle, and as you can see, I don't really have a whole lot. I don't have a whole lot going here at the moment, like at all. But this is the basic general overview of where I've been for the past couple of months, why you haven't seen me, because something like this, you wouldn't think it until you start doing it, just how time-consuming it is, and why a lot of video game companies have so many people dedicated to the project. Like, oh, it's just make a couple of pictures, program a couple of things, you get, no, motherfucker, it's not even like... It's so involved that it just kind of blows your mind. It gives you a whole new perspective. How do they make it work? How do they make it feel solid or floaty or whatever? It's been a very interesting learning process. And if anything, I just wanted you guys to kind of see what I was doing, where I was at, why I was doing this. And something like this, I can imagine would take a lot of my time. So doing streaming and YouTube content, one or both of them is definitely going to have to take a back seat. I still enjoy streaming and I still enjoy doing YouTube content, but I want to focus on this more because I really, really want this. I want this to be a thing. I want people to enjoy the things that I enjoy because I think they're enjoyable. And I want to share in the things that I've learned and the things that I can do. And if anybody has tips, tricks, information, anything that can help me out, any sort of information, I would totally be down with whatever you guys got, because this is what I've been up to. So, if there's anything more you guys need to know, feel free to drop me a line. Doesn't matter, I may not always immediately answer, but I will see it, and I will read it, and I will answer as soon as I can. And I will see you guys next time. Peace out.